Did you ever go on those fishing trips with Dale and like Bill France and any of that? Like, because we hear about those stories.
Yeah, I hated the saltwater. The best story I've ever heard is when they put the 5-gallon bucket on Hank Jones. Have y'all heard that story?
No.
Oh, it's crazy. They'd all caught a marlin, but Hank, and it was Hank's turn. You know, they drew straws for who fights the marlin. So Hank had drank some Coronas with some lime, and I think he had a lot more Corona than he did lime. And, he was pretty ripe, and so they put a bucket on they got the captain in on it. So when you sped up the boat, man, that bucket just about pulled you out of the fighting chair. It was so hard. And so they would get that, and they'd tell Hank, he said, he's coming up. And Hank would be really, really tired, and he'd close his eyes. And of course, the bucket was in there, and they'd say, "Oh, I saw him. Did you see him? I saw him, Bo.
And it's a bucket.
It was a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, my God.
But they would say they saw him, so Hank was too proud to say, "No, I didn't see him." You know, he'd have his eyes closed. "Yeah, I saw him. But keep fighting him. He fought that bucket for hours. He was just drunk. And he was so tired when they got it up on the boat, and he realized it was a bucket. He said, "I get you, Bo. Someday I'll get you, Bo." He was so wore out he couldn't even argue with them.
That's hilarious.
That is funny. That's funny. That reminds me of that trick that the Real Tree guys, Bill Jordan, did on Dale Earnhardt when he crept up on that with that buck, and
fake deer,
and it was a decoy.
Yeah, Bubba Buck.
And he put that arrow, placed that arrow right at the kill shot, and then he's like, "I didn't even move." That's funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. I put saran wrap over the toilet one time we stayed together.
Who's we?
Your dad and I.
Oh.
We stayed in the lower house. When we had the Piloncilla, there was an upper house, and Richard and Tommy Teague and Mike and maybe 2 or 3 other guys would stay in the upper house, and your dad and I would stay in the lower house. We was kind of by ourselves, and the bathroom light was a red light, and so you could just see the outline of the toilet. So I went in there, and when he went to sleep, I stretched some saran wrap over it. He peed all over it. Anybody else would have quit. He just sat there and danced all the time. He didn't know what was going on.
That's hilarious.
That turned out to be a mistake. He got me back.
How'd he get you back?
Oh, I can't tell that.
Can't tell that?
I can't tell that, but he got me good.
Must have not have been just the fight in the bucket. You must have done something.
No. It was worse.
It was worse.
It was
Damn. That is one thing that I would not want on my conscience is Dale Earnhardt's going to get me back, and I don't know how.
Oh, man.
I would, pulling the prank on him and then having to wait and see what he's going to come up with. Holy smokes.
It's terrifying.
Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook.
I had a old high rack truck at the deer lease, and so I was coming into camp one night, and I had no idea your dad was anywhere around, and he came up behind me. I mean, he hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had to steer left and drive through a barbed wire fence, keep him turning over because that old truck was top heavy. He thought that was hilarious. So I've spent the next day fixing fences while they all went hunting. So the next year we're back, and I bought an old van out of Mexico that had a high rack on it, and I was going to scrap the van. All I wanted was the high rack. So Donnie Reeves and I, we were going to go hunt close together, and your dad went further down into the ranch, and so Donnie killed a deer that night. So I got down early and drove over and helped him load that deer in the old van. Well, that old van didn't have any lights. It was just a piece of junk. Wouldn't hardly run. And so we're coming back, and right in that same corner where your dad had hit me The year before, I see the dust coming. And I said, Donnie, you got your seatbelt on? He said, no, why? I said, because here comes Earnhardt. He said, oh, my gosh. He buckles up. We get up there, and I'm watching. I can see because the sun, I'm traveling east, and the sun's behind me. And I can see about the time he's going to get me. And Tommy Teague had a brand-new Suburban, and Dale borrowed it. So when he got real close to where he's going to put the bumper on me, I locked that thing down on a dime. I mean, he hit me like a ton of bricks, boy. It bent that bumper. Had a winch on the front of it, bent the bumper in the ground so he couldn't back up and get away from me. So it blew the tires out on that old van. The whole back end was pushed and knocked the doors off. So I'm going to turn him over. That's my objective.
God.
And the tires were spinning with inside the rim, and I couldn't get enough leverage to turn him over, but I caught the ladder on the side of that new Suburban. It just peeled the sheet metal off of it. And the only way he could get back to camp is he had to back up because the bumper was sticking in the ground.
That's
he came
hilarious.
in there, and I'm eating dinner. And he said, Parker, you ain't got a bit of respect for sheet metal. I said, Earnhardt, I'm sitting here in Victory Lane, buddy. I ain't never seen you looking at sheet metal in Victory Lane. Oh. He got me back.